This video is designed to show you how to edit a photograph using Picmonkey.com, which is a free site online, or it's mostly free, it's very cheap. We have a subscription to it. Anyhow, it's a fun site, it's easy to use, and it can do a lot with your photography. So this video is picking up after you've shot your scavenger hunt photographs and you've uploaded them to a folder, you've batch renamed them, and you've made a contact sheet. The next step in the project is to choose one of your photographs that we're going to edit and make 4 different versions of in Picmonkey, with the goal being to learn, how the way we choose to edit a photograph, meaning adjust color, crop, add borders, textures, etc., how that can really change the way the photo looks, and in turn the way that a viewer might interpret the photograph and how it might make them feel. It'll also give you the chance to become familiar with Picmonkey, which is an editing source that you can use for the rest of the semester. So the first step is going to be to go to Bridge and go inside your scavenger hunt folder, which we are. Mine's just kind of a collection of images. And you're going to want to choose which photograph do you want. Now Picmonkey, you can't just open directly from Bridge, but you can take a mental note of the number, and then you'll remember which picture it was that you wanted to open up. So maybe I'll choose this one. So I'm going to take a mental note that I'm going to open up 0679. Okay, now I can minimize Bridge, and I'm going to go into Chrome, and I'm going to go to www.picmonkey.com. And then I'm probably going to need to log in. Often it'll save the login, but if you see this up here, you're going to need to log in. Otherwise, it will say SSHS Photography. So if I log in, as you can see, it's saved it on my computer, but the username is sshsphotography@gmail.com, and the password is actually photo 2014. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, and that should give me access. So this is how you're going to know you're logged in to the whole site. Now if I want to start editing a photograph, I'm just going to simply click on Edit and then My Computer. And you guys up here would navigate to your, first to the Photography Network folder, and then to your teacher folder, and then to your class, and then to your own. I'm making this video somewhere where I don't have access to the network, so I'm just going to do a similar route where I'm going to go find my folder, but it's just a little bit in a different place. Okay, so I'm going to go to my desktop and into my scavenger hunt, and then I'm going to get that image that I had in my mind that I wanted to work with. So then I'm going to hit open. And it takes a second, but it will bring up your picture. So here's my photograph. And just a quick tutorial. I mean, this site is so user-friendly that you really don't even need this video, but just to show you around a little bit. Over here is what we call our basic edits. So you can crop really easily, just drag this around. So you can adjust your image. Be careful, you guys, with cropping. You don't want to crop something really small, or now you have, kind of gotten rid of all of your image resolution, which we'll talk about more later. But anyhow, that's how you can crop. If you want to apply it, you just go ahead and hit apply. You can change the background color. You can rotate your picture, adjust exposure, some color adjustments, make it a little more saturated, less saturated, meaning black and white. Change the color temperature, meaning like warm it up or cool it down. You can sharpen your picture, and you can resize it. So those are kind of basic ones to start with. Then if you click up here in the top left, this is our basic edits. The next one down allows you to apply all of these different, what we would call color treatments. So it'll have a different effect on the colors. So you can apply it, you can make it more or less, like it was at 100%, but if I increase this fade, it'll make the color treatment less obvious. So you can go all the way down. There's tons of different stuff on here that will have an effect on the color scheme, essentially. Then you can also make everything black and white, and there's different versions of that. There's, you know, some kind of older filters. These are all basically just color filters. You can add in some shapes, bring in some bokeh, change the size of it. You know, you can do a lot of different stuff. Add some sun flare, lens flare, and again, all of this should be able to move around and adjust, you know, how much you're seeing of it and all of that. So the list just goes on and on. You can do all kinds of stuff here. If you're working on a portrait, now these things can get a little out of hand really quick, but they're kind of fun to play with. There's all these touch-up things you can do. You can brighten eyes and whiten teeth and fix blemishes and add makeup and all kinds of stuff. So you can do that. You can also add in some text. If I click on this big T, and there's all these little text fonts, and then you can just click on one and you should be able to start typing. Now I could start typing and put a little message in here, so that's another option. Sometimes it is kind of fun to add words with our photography. I'm going to get out of here. You can, if you click down on this butterfly, you can add an overlay, which is kind of cool. If I add one of my own pictures up here, just grab one really quick, it will allow me, slowing down, but it will allow me to stack images, essentially. If I pull this to the edge, and then if I click on this blending mode, you know, these are all going to be different ways that those two images interact with each other. So you can make what's called a double exposure. So that's one way to deal with this. Or you can add any of their overlays that they've already got, which there are some. Well, a lot of these ones are kind of cheesy. I think what I was thinking was you can do the exact same thing down here in these textures. Again, you can add your own, and then you can also add some of theirs. So that's another option. This is borders, which I think sometimes are nice because they make your image look like it has a finished look. So there's everything from, like, you know, more like just formal borders to one of my personal favorites, the daguerreotype border. Makes everything look kind of old and edgy. You know, there's some fun sketchy ones if you like kind of a messy look. So those are kind of fun to play with as well. This, I think, is just kind of, again, sort of some cheesy stuff for different holidays. So it's kind of good if you're going to make a card or something out of your photo. But, you know, you've got all these options. So let's say you do all of that. You made your photograph exactly how you want. Remember, the goal is to adjust the same photo 4 different ways. So not 4 different things within the photo, like you changed color and you added a texture. I want you to edit the photograph entirely and then save it, and then reopen your original and edit in a different way, save it. And you're going to do that 4 times. Okay? So to save, don't be fooled by this save button. It's kind of really confusing. You actually want to choose export. So I would export this image, and it's really important that now I give it a new name. So for me, it makes sense for this project if I just call it maybe my edit 1. And then you want it on quality. We always want to export at Sean because it's the largest image quality or the best image quality. And then you're going to export to your computer, and you're going to, you can expand here, but you're going to navigate back again to the photography network folder, and then the teacher folder, and then your folder, and then your scavenger hunt folder. And oftentimes it's going to come up in the recent places because you've been on the computer working and it's kind of memorized that pathway. But here's my scavenger hunt folder. I've got my edit 1. I'm going to make sure it's a JPEG, which it should be coming out of Picmonkey, and then I'm going to hit save. And because I changed that file name, I'm now going to have 2 images. So you can see here's my edit 1, and then if I scroll down, here was that original. Now I didn't really save any of my color treatments, but I could have, okay? And so now I still have that original image, which I would then use to open again in Picmonkey and repeat this process until I've got edit 1, edit 2, edit 3, edit 4. And all of those pictures should look different because, again, your goal is to try to edit them so that you've changed kind of the essence of the photograph based on the color treatments and borders and textures and all that stuff that you have decided to use. Okay, so that is a quick tutorial on Picmonkey.